Grand Rising. I just woke up from another dream. Part of my dream was interesting because I was in a hub of some sorts. Then I clicked on California. It gave me information about everything. It gave me information about Native Americans in California and how the settlers came over, took over their land, and depleted all of their crops and livestock because they didn't know how to do it on their own. And I seen one of the Native Americans, darker than me, by the way, keep that in mind, darker than me, who was just really irritated and took it out on his own brethren. But it was understandable because it was like, why are we letting these people do this to us type of thing, you know? So later on, they're in some like bondage carriage or, you know, something similar to a prison bus, but back in the day. And so one of the settlers tried to attack that same person who got irritated. And the last livestock that they had, this was the last livestock that these Native Americans had. The last one, that bull took that settler off the earth. And he was in a cage. Everyone else was shocked and stunned. But the man who was irritated was happy and laughing. Not at him, but at the fact that justice was finally served. I didn't see what happened after that. I looked it up. Well, I looked up California Native Americans and settlers that came in, and it's heartbreaking. Look it up for yourself. It's heartbreaking. That told me a few things. One, the settlers did not know what they were doing, despite what history told you. And two, our ancestors were actually irritated from it. We did not just sit around and deal with nothing. Because what I left out was that man who was irritated, he was about to start a fight with him. It's like I was watching a piece of history. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was watching a piece of my ancestral history. Native Americans were enslaved. Their livestock and crops were depleted till nothing was there. And then they got captured, and not even captured, they were transported because they were already freaking working for these people. I don't know why, but from what I learned, they were already irritated because a man was taking it out on his own, which was still understandable because of how frustrated he was. And one most important thing, nature is against them settlers. Nature is, was, and will be against those settlers. To everyone that's tapped in with their ancestors, we have and have always had and will always have nature on our side, despite what our situation may look like. Nature has always been there for us, whether in the form of animals, plants, or even the worst of weather. Nature has always been there for us, and she always will. Do not forget that. Always remember that. Because despite what happened to our ancestors, she was still with us until their bitter end. But now, times are changing. The wrath of our ancestors are boiling up to the surface. I ain't about to say too much. I ain't gonna say too much. But I would not be surprised if we see their descendants get exactly what they deserve. Now, I don't mean hurting them, But I do mean symbolically, we getting back and taking back what's ours. I mean, it's gonna happen regardless. Just keep that in mind. It's gonna happen regardless. And they know it. So to y'all that are still discriminating and don't feel bad about what your ancestor did, repercussions are coming. And all I can say is be prepared because we're getting back what's ours. Best believe. Everything you took, we taking it back. Don't think you're keeping it. We getting it back.